XLY4 Make It Count election coverage now, continuing our series of interviews with the candidates for elected office here in Eastern Washington and North Idaho. I'm joined tonight by Spokane County Commissioner Mark Richard, running for re-election. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to jump right in and talk about jobs and the economy.
Okay.
Over the past 4 years, while the nation has struggled, Spokane County's really done pretty well. What are we doing right, and what are some things that we're doing wrong?
Well, I think we're doing a lot of things right. I mean, this isn't by accident. You know, today's article about the fact that unemployment is down while the nation's unemployment is up. We are investing in everything, the county, in just what it said today in the paper, strengthening and diversifying the economy. So youth workforce development, medical research, entrepreneurial mentoring, trade exports for our existing businesses, all of those things we've invested in personally and partnered with. We are the largest public investor in economic development in the region, and that's the reason why we've gone from 114th to 9th on the Forbes best place to own a business. It's just been wonderful, and I think we're poised to ride and weather this storm pretty well.
Okay, so that's the good news. Well,
yeah.
What are the wrong things that the county's doing?
Well, I can't think of anything, honestly, with regards to job creation. You know, I think it's always a challenge, Robyn, when you're trying to balance the priorities of government. And the fact is that some of these things we've been faced with in the past, like crime check and like the jail, overcrowded issue that you and I spoke of, and mental health crisis that we were in a couple of years ago, those things have caused us to have to go to the voters to ask for some tax increases. And I don't like that any more than anybody else. I would say that's probably the negative, but we're being very cautious, and we're auditing our own systems, and we're cutting waste internally to try to make sure that we do that as few times as possible to stay off the backs of business.
The Spokane County took on the city of Spokane, annexing a section of land up north that included the Costco store and other tax-rich businesses. The county initially really opposed it very, very strongly, and then just kind of gave up. Why not continue that fight?
Well, a couple of things. One, we reached an historic compromise with Mayor Hession at that time. For the first time ever, Spokane County, and I worked with him personally as the chair, to broker a revenue sharing agreement that allowed us to receive some residual revenue from the sales tax from Costco for a period of time. So we built ourselves a transition plan for the county to be able to pare down its services in that area. So that was the first reason why we kind of, I won't say gave up, but we compromised. And that had never been done before. Previous to this, every time annexation had occurred, it had been lawsuits. In addition to that, I mean, the reality is, Robyn, although it gravely impacts county budgets, that the courts and the legislature have determined that they really are stacked in favor of cities and annexation. So instead of just continuing to fight and spend your tax dollars, we are compromising with local government. We are looking at long-term annexation strategies and looking at revenue sharing and paring county government down as cities take over those areas, because that's what the courts and the legislature say we need to do. So instead of spending more tax dollars suing each other, we decide that it's better to partner together and try to be collaborative.
The county took a lot of heat for purchasing the Spokane Raceway Park area. In fact, one of your fellow commissioners even said it was a bad idea, that taxpayers overpaid for that facility. In your opinion, was it a really good idea?
Well, if you, of course, read the newspaper this morning when my fellow commissioner says this has the contract we just put together with the private sector, which we promised the voters, exceeded her wildest expectations. It didn't exceed ours. Quite frankly, we studied the model. We knew the possibilities. We knew that a partnership with the private sector could do phenomenal things, not just for racing, but for the law enforcement training and the youth sports complex that we want to build there. This represents an opportunity, as was reported, to return approximately $40 million as estimated, and that's a conservative estimate, to Spokane County. We invested $4.3 million. We think that's a pretty good return. And in addition to that, it doesn't talk about the sales tax and the jobs that will be created that are already being created. I'm visiting with the folks down here at the general store who say their business at the counter for parts for automobiles has boomed since the track has been under county ownership. So it's not that it wasn't operating before, it wasn't operating very well, and it wasn't realizing its potential. And I think it has a great opportunity to, again, provide diversity in our economy and recreation at the same time.
Okay, we have just a little bit of time left, and I want to ask you a series of yes and no questions. We're asking your opponent the same, as best as you can, yes and no. Does Spokane County need higher taxes to balance its budget, and would you vote to raise taxes of any kind?
No. Oh, well, of any kind, we are going to be forced to ask the voters to address this jail overcrowded issue. Regarding balancing the budget, no.
Do you or did you support banning nearly all types of dishwashing detergents because of concerns over the quality of the Spokane River?
I did.
Should the county work with the city of Spokane to build a light rail system from downtown to Liberty Lake?
Not today.
Is the county considering tolls or other funding measures to finish the north-south freeway?
Yes, we are.
And would the county be worse off if Bryan Sayrs was elected to the county commission?
I believe it would. I think we have great momentum going.
All right, Mark Richard, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.